Hello and good morning to you all. Hello, Kate. Hello, Rachel. Good morning. So, Margaret chimed in earlier. Hello. It is good to see you all. I know we're all still waking up, right? Another week gone by. So, yeah. Hey, good morning, Carmen. Hey, Dana. Good morning. That's good to hear. I did see some photos this morning. I did see some photos. That was some interesting drinks I saw. So I will. I was kind of wondering what those were all about, but we can save that for another conversation another time. But yes, good morning. Welcome to Mid Morning Medium Chat with Adam the Black Swamp Medium. Thank you for being here on Saturday the 16th. So it is good to see you. Hey, Nancy. Good morning. Going camping? Yes, yes, I love that. Hey, Margaret, I'm watching. Won't be able to comment, but nope, don't worry about it. Hey, Alexis. Hey, Kelly. Good morning. Good to see you all. Thank you for joining. Yes, it's other than you guys saw me this past Wednesday. So it's good to be back on the morning show. So yeah, it was great. It was great. So I mean, it's I love doing this show. I really do. It's been a lot of fun, and so I I do feel I maybe a little depressed when I can't have one. I mean, I wanted to try to get a record in, but because the week prior I just couldn't get something squared away. But that's okay. It happens, and sometimes we need a break, and but it's cool. Good morning, Jennifer. Kate, that's the I'm going to highlight that here in a minute. So you're asking how my vacation's going. So I will hit that up. I do, before we start getting into any other um the topic, and then just some of the things I want to bring you guys up to speed, obviously, because it's been a couple weeks. uh I got to talk about a couple upcoming events that are going on. So I wanted to, highlight those. And I, of course, wasn't ready. So, I did write them down, but then I was unfortunate in not having the dates in front of me, but I should know it. Well, the one I should know, but I just, sometimes the dates just kind of run together. Sometimes, you see the number so many times because you're always scheduling appointments. And, for me, so, trying to mix in more clients and things like that coming up. So, but the one I wanted to highlight, real quickly. So a lot of you that do watch, and even if you're not, the paranormal peeps that are out there, we do have our team, Swippy, and some of the founders of Glass Paranormal are putting an event on at our old mill on July 30th. We're having a couple of the hey Chandrell, we're having a couple of the Tennessee Wraith chasers come out, and there'll be a meet and greet with a ghost hunt. So it's going to be a good time. So if you're looking for more information, you can always go to our Haunted Old Mill Facebook page, our Swippy page, SWPI. uh, I know I've put it up on mine. You just have to go to my Medium page and just scroll down to find it. But I'll probably highlight it again. But we want to fill it up and have a good time. And like I said, it's I personally haven't met those guys before. So at least I'm excited to see what they're like in person and things like that. But the hey Joe, good morning, sir. But I mean, I've the Glass, Dan and Rebecca, who are helping with this. They've been friends with that team for a while, and because Tennessee Race Chasers have been on TV, they've had a couple different shows and things. So they're they seem like they'll be a lot of fun. So I'm so excited. So yeah, on July 30th, we're gonna have that going on. I think it's 6 p.m. to like 1 a.m. or something like that. But like I said, if you're looking for more information, you can go to a number of pages: a Haunted Old Mill, the SWPI page, our team page, and then you can go to my Medium page and just scroll, and you'll find the flyer for it and stuff like that. So yeah, so if you guys want to come hang out and investigate with a couple TV people, that's awesome too. So that's the cool thing. The next one I want to get into, and again, wake the mouse up. Let's see, stop that, and I'm going to do this one because this one's cool. I've been getting updates a little bit more frequently, so I'm getting a lot more excited. So I'm going to throw it up right there. And I'm kind of halving it a little bit. Actually, let me do this. Move it out of the way. Maybe. Oh, I know why it's not working. Uh, This is why you have a team to do this stuff, There we go. That's what I wanted to do. And I wanted to go like this, blow it up. So, coming up next month, August 6th and 7th, you can kind of see that they're in the drop down, doing a Shamanic Journeys class. So this is something I've talked about numerous times, and anybody that's ever met me and a lot of times, I've talked on other shows that I've been on as guest. It's where it got me started down the spiritual path. And it's not a mediumship thing. It's not anything like that. This is basically just learning to communicate with your own guides. And and if you're religious, some believe in angels and things, which I do too. But again, it's a couple days. Friday, people can come out early if they want to start their weekend a little bit sooner. So Friday is kind of optional, but there's not really much we'll do. We might squeeze a few things in just for fun, but the main class is Saturday and Sunday, so it's quick. And so it's going to be happening out at my good friend Carmen's house out in Swanton, Ohio. So I'm looking forward to this because now I'm officially a co-teacher at this, and so it's going to be a lot of fun and things. And let me scroll down just so you guys can see a few things there. And you can just see it again. Like I said, I'm just trying to highlight it because it is a lot of fun for me. And a lot of the, I wouldn't recommend it if, I'm not one of those people that will recommend things if I don't believe in it. And since I took it and I've helped out with it for years, and it just really, if you're serious about a spiritual path, it really will help you out. And especially, you're going to do so many meditations and things, and you're going to really learn how to just quiet your mind down, which is huge. And I talk about that a lot, but I think you guys will have anybody that wants to do it. I think it's going to be great because it is a lot of fun, and you get to meet a lot of cool people, and it just the energy, the vibe, just works out really well. So hopefully if you guys are interested, you can come out and sign up for it. And we're doing really well. Like, I'm already impressed with how many people have signed up. So I mean, any more is just going to blow my mind, and that would be great too. Because the more people that show up, the more you get to share. Because I mean, the weekend's quick, it does go by pretty fast, and it's a lot of stuff, but at the same time, you really are going to kind of subside with a lot of the chaos and the chaotic world of things that you guys are all involved with. I mean, we all have jobs to do, and so yeah, it can kind of get crazy, but this is really a lot of fun. And like I said, you're not going to have to go to you're not going to go down any other path like me. I mean, it just worked out for me that way. But I got to remember, I've been doing it a long time before I even thought about doing mediumship and opening that door. So, so you're not going to necessarily go down my path. So that's not something you have to worry about, because most people this is just a common thing that we all technically have under our belts. It's just highlighting it and enhancing it, because, we've we all our Western style of upbringing and things like that, that a lot of the stuff you just didn't, you were told that didn't exist or didn't believe in it. And then, we all do our stuff and just, it is what it is, but I enjoy the fact that, the people that are serious about it are meant to be there. And that's just part of the process of it. When something like this calls to you, you'll know it, you'll just feel it deep down. And that's what this class did for me. I just felt it, and I never looked back. And I mean, that was 2005 that I took the class. And in fact, I took Shamanic 1 and 2, and within a month or two apart, because it was offered. And I'm like, I couldn't, stop doing that stuff. So, but then again, it's not even like where you're going to go down the same path as me. Your path is different. And so that's the best part about it. So yeah, so hopefully, if you guys are interested, you can always ask me questions about it more. And then, like I said, you can sign up, for it. And it's just 5th and 6th, but we kind of throw it out there if people want to come out the day before, the evening before, I should say. And, we'll kind of hang out. We'll just start to relax a little bit and get our minds quieted, so that way you're ready to go. So it's kind of like a perk to show up even a little early, but, but you can camp. You certainly can camp on Carmen's property. And then, There will be a bathroom and stuff like that. They're not going to be showers available because the house will be off limits unless there's an actual emergency type of thing. But there will be a bathroom. But yeah, if you're going to camp, yeah, you're gonna you know yeah, it's all right. You could go a day. It's not going to matter. Nobody's judging anybody anyway because you're all focused on yourselves, and learning from each other anyway. So, but uh, yeah, and then there's hotels. There's there's one that's like almost like 10-15 minutes away, and then there's a bunch more to choose from. Well, about 10 minutes away, and then another like 5 minutes or so. Then there's a cluster of hotels and things. So there's hotels within reach. So if you don't want to camp, you certainly don't have to. You just have to make sure you come out to the class. And I know he put I've seen I was proofreading the newsletter that goes out to the people that have signed up, and so we'll be starting at like 9 a.m. on Saturday. So if you are traveling, you obviously want to make sure you're there, between 8 and 8:30, by at least 8:30 at the latest, but nothing before 8. So but yeah, so that's what's coming up for some events and classes, and then where am I going from here? Cool. I wanted to recap real quick because I'm going to keep watching my clock. I wanted to talk about the Wild Wind Holistic Fair that happened last weekend because, again, I didn't get to say a whole lot, but I mean, I did post some, at least a picture. I didn't post a lot of the other ones I took. I mean, I didn't take a ton of photos like I thought I would, but you get to talking to people, and which is always a fun thing to do, especially when I've never been to that area before. So I mean, I knew a couple people, I knew a couple vendors, but a lot of them I didn't. And I didn't get to meet everybody either. So that's the fun thing about a fair. You kind of just start mingling and you start talking to people that are around you and stuff. But that event was in Standish, Michigan, and had an absolute blast. I mean, it was a lot of fun. Good crowds, a lot of vendors. Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe how many vendors were there, and so many different styles of healers and readers, and I mean, just and people just have rocks and gems and stuff like that. I mean, it was just so much to take in, and beautiful location. That was the other thing that impressed me was, I've heard so much about it all year, and then to actually set foot on the property, I was just blown away. And so there's some stuff I didn't post that, like, I'm glad that I took photos of them because there's just some amazing things. The energy is great. And so I can't thank Andy and Carrie for helping, I know Carrie, knew who I was, and then she was, convincing Andy to have me come out. And so we had like I said, I had a blast. And so main thing I did was, I did a flute meditation thing. And so had fun, got to, be up on a stage, and just played inside of a barn, man, which was kind of cool too. And I will say it was kind of funny. There was a little bit of technical glitches, right away. I even had to run to my car to get one of my own speakers. So it was a good thing I had it because for some reason, after testing the one that they had, it just started making all this noise. So I'm like, well, maybe the energy was just a little too much, and so it needed a change. So I took it as that. So that's why I ended up, I had to run and get my speaker. Hey, good morning, Sharon. Got my speaker and threw it up there, and then continued to play. And so and then did a bunch of readings. In fact, I mean, I was still doing readings after the event for almost close to an hour, which was crazy. But it was cool. I mean, other than being tired because of the long drive, I drove that morning, and then I drove back, and going home was worse than going up because of freeways ended up closing completely because of construction. And yeah, it took me like four and a half to get home, which was insane. But that was a long day, so I spent I think I factored in, it was like 8 hours worth of driving, so that would be my only downside to it. But I do want to go back next year because I can't make any of the others. So I mean, if you guys are interested in this, they do it every second Saturday of each month of the warmer months. So there's still a few more months to go if you guys want to go up there and check it out. I mean, it is worth it. I mean, I definitely am going to go back. I've already stated, a bunch of times to them that, yeah, I'll definitely be back next year for sure. So, hey, Jill, good morning. And yeah, so it was, like I said, it was a lot of fun, and just, you just soak it all in, and you run around. Hey, Margie. But yeah, I just had fun. And so, I mean, it was well worth it. So if you guys wanted, if you got any of those second Saturdays, the next few months, I mean, get out there, because it's, like I said, you you'll have a good time. There's no doubt about it. So, um, but yeah, so that was cool. That was the last weekend, and that was why there wasn't a show, and getting ready for that, and plus a few other things that were going on that week. I couldn't record like I wanted to, and I thought I could, but yeah, just my evenings were shot. So um, so I'm going to fast forward into this week because I was on vacation. I know Kate was asking about it earlier. Vacation's been cool. It's been, I had plans and they canceled. So, you know, I debated if I really wanted to, still stay on vacation, or if I just wanted to, take a couple days and then, store the other ones for another time. But I realized that anytime I've ever done anything over the summer, it's usually long weekends, or like last August, so about almost a year ago, I took like 3 or 4 days to continue on with the movie that I was working on. Being I was part of the crew, so I've always been busy, so I haven't like done like a real like warm weather vacation time. So it was fun for a change to, uh, even though I didn't do a ton. Uh, for at least the first half, almost all, well, the majority of the week. And then yesterday I got to have a lot of fun. Uh, got to be, I was gone all day and most of the night, and got to hang out with some great friends, and got to do some cool things that, after doing them, we're talking about doing this for the public and stuff. So it'd be like an event like locally. So people that are local that can come out. But I can't share anything because again, we got to work a lot of details out and things, but I was blown away because it was something I've never done before. And it it even they my friends that were there, they were, they could tell that it was a little bit mind-blowing for me, because it was something I've never done, and it oh man. So it'll be fun when we start to get close to like maybe firming up a date that we can do this, for others. We'll I'll be able to share that story and talk about it, because yeah, I mean it's I would recommend it to a lot of people, that especially ones that have started a path, a spiritual path, and do some meditation and things, because it's you've got to go through it. You can't be completely brand new, at least that's my opinion. Now I mean there could be others, of course, but you got to have some a little bit of background in this stuff, and in some form, like I said. But yeah, we'll see. And like I said, it'll be kind of fun to, if we work it out, it's going to be a blast. And it blew. I mean, all three of us had our own unique experiences, and so everybody was a little bit different. But at the same time, it was moving and powerful. And so I was excited, and it really did. It got me to the point where it's pretty rare. You guys see me for an hour, I can just keep babbling away. It's crazy that for like good 15 minutes, at least 15 minutes, I couldn't say anything. I had to like digest and go over like what was going on. Hey Chad, good morning, sir. There you go. But hey man, there's nothing wrong. Like Chad, I'm glad you're getting some sleep, man. I'm glad you're sleeping. I got to hit you up, Chad. I got to talk to you about something offline. So I probably won't today, but maybe tomorrow. Because I gotta mention something to you. So nothing crazy, but actually something cool. But I gotta hit you up on the side. So be looking for that message. Or hit me up first if you want, and then just be like, hey, what did you want to tell me? So maybe do that. Hit me up privately, and then we can I can tell you what's going on. But yeah, so that was kind of cool. So yeah, so I'll definitely be bringing that stuff up. I wanted to, like I said, I'm going to try to keep pushing things. So if I talk fast, it's on purpose, because there's just so much I want to, catch up to you guys, because it's been 2 weeks. So I don't know how many people saw my post on Wednesday or Thursday. Oh shoot, I can't remember the day. Wednesday or Thursday. I think it doesn't matter now at this point. It might have been Thursday. Doesn't matter. It was Wednesday or Thursday. See, and you know what? I'm just going to drink real quick. It's coffee. So Thursday, there you go. So I had to talk about the cardinal story, and I'm going to label it as that. And thank you, Chad. and I don't know how many people saw it, because like I said, it was pretty cool. So if you guys read the post, at least maybe you can hear me talking about it versus just reading through it. Because like I do, if I post, sometimes it's can be pretty long. It's like uh doing like a blog type of thing, but sometimes it's hard to, like, you don't want to skip over too many details, and so I will just write it out. But I was, got up, and I'm just going to run through a bit, and I'll try to speed it up so it's not too long, because like I said, I want to get to the topic and stuff, because that's going to finish up the last part of the show. But I woke up, it was, I don't know, 6:30, 7 o'clock, something like that, and I was walking down the stairs, and like the last step or two before getting to the main floor, heard a bang, and it's a bang that you hear on the window or the back door, and I knew it was from the kitchen area, where the dining room table is and stuff, and I turned the corner, and I'm kind of walking in the hall, and so I was like, okay, what was that, and so nobody really knew, the family that was up at that time, and so I immediately went to the back door, because I thought, well, I'll just roll the blinds open, because we got vertical blinds on them, and I'll take a look out and see, what it was. And we kind of, had an assumption of what it would be, but just had no, you never know. And sure enough, I start rolling the blinds open, and the first thing I see is a female cardinal and a male cardinal, but then like immediately the male cardinal's like just like pecking at the female, and immediately I was like, oh my god, I think the female must have hit the door, it crashed into it, flew into it, that sort of thing. And so I think it was like shell shocked, it was like it stunned itself. And then we were like, how hard did it hit, and was it, like, how serious is it? Is it just shell shocked, or is it, like bad? Because it wasn't moving. There was no movement looking at her. And I felt bad, because the I don't, obviously when they get together, they're kind of couples for life. And so I was thinking he was just trying to like wake her up, revive her, but it's like weird, because he's like pecking at her, and it's like you felt bad. So I slide the blinds open, and I'm looking out there thinking, and he's kind of seeing me now, so like he's backing off, and then he goes back in, and so I'm like, we got to make this thing. And so I open up so now at the point I'm like, okay, I don't want her, him messing with her too much. So I open up the door, and at this point, now he flies away, which I'm like, cool, because like, I want to see what's going on. I mean, is she gone or what? So I kind of walk out there, real slow and stuff like that, and I'm kind of going around her, because her tail was towards me, which was where the door was. So I walk around her, and I kind of lean over a little bit, and I see that her eyes open, and then I starting to see her blink, but she's not moving her head. Nothing's moving, but she's just kind of propped, like sitting there, and so I'm seeing some blankets. So I kind of I go more towards, a little bit more in front of her, and I kind of crouch down, and I'm talking to her, but not, audibly and with inside, because I've worked on animal communication. Hey, Christine. And so I've worked on animal communications before, and I think I've talked about it. And so I'm kind of doing a little bit of both. One, with the voice, I'm trying to give more of a pleasant tone, so she if she is any way coherent at all, I don't sound horrible and menacing and that sort of thing. So I'm talking to her, but then I'll talk to her through energy, and just kind of letting her know it's okay, and I'm not going to be hurting her and things like that. So I still talking to her. My wife came over to the back door, and I said, well, she's blinking her eye and stuff. And just at that point, she started shifting her eye. So like she was now like able to like look around. It wasn't just a blank. So now you could see that she was focusing her eyes a little bit more around and just trying to see things. So, and that's when we were thinking, okay, well, maybe she's paralyzed or something. That was like a horrible thought, because there was no movement, and I even took my hand and just kind of went real close to see if I'd get any reaction, and nothing. So I'm like, oh man, this is not a good situation. And then trying to contemplate, do I scoop her up? Do I hold her? Do I try to see if she'll prop up in a tree to get her off the ground? Because obviously, we do got cats and things, and you never know what can come through, and I hate to see that happen too. I'd rather give a fighting chance, in a tree or something. But so I'm holding her, so I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe what I'll do is I'll try to pet her a little bit, just real. So I just took the back of my finger and I just was going down her right wing. And I just did that a couple times. But at this point, I'm just still trying to talk to her both ways. And, every time I touch her, I was trying to give her a little bit of healing too at the same time, just that, actual contact way of it. And so I'm doing that. And then I stopped for a moment, was still trying to talk to her a little bit, and wasn't really getting much from her at all. So I mean, it was like, oh man, she really, her, because I couldn't feel, see, hear anything coming out of her. So I was like, I'm like, oh man. So eventually, so I started petting her a second time, and same thing, just trying to give her a little bit, to get moving and stuff. And so I get them petting her a second time, and kitty corner to our backyard, neighbors were letting their dogs out. Well, you can hear the door opening and closing. So and she reacted to it. It wasn't like a crazy loud sound, but she reacted, and her head turned towards basically where I was, but where the sound was from behind me. And so now we had, she was moving her head. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I still was trying to figure out, do I pick her up, because she's still not saying nothing, and I can't tell what condition she's in because she's just not giving me a whole lot. So I was getting ready to pet her a third time, and about the time I was just starting to move my hand towards her again, she perked up real fast. Oh, I forgot too. I did take a stick and touch her foot before she started shifting her head, to see if there was any, movement in her limbs, obviously. And she did move her foot a little bit. So I was like, okay, we're getting there. And then that's when I petted her a second time, and the sound that then she shifted her head. But as soon as I was going to go in for a third time, because I was thinking, okay, I'm going to pick her up, if she's not doing anything else, I'm just going to hold her for a while. And just as I was barely getting that movement forward, she stood up, real nice and tall, and then flew up, went right to one of our family room windows, landed on the ledge, and I was like, okay. And and cardinals got those little plumes that come up, so her plume went straight up, and I'm like, oh, hello, and so I'm trying to talk to her a little bit, but with a second or two, of her being on the window, then she flies up into the tree that was right kitty corner to the house. So she goes up there, and now I can barely see her because she's a bunch of pine needles and stuff like that, so I can't see her. Hey, Laura. And so so she was up in the tree. She definitely looked more alert and stuff. And again, I couldn't see a lot of her. I could see her tail and just the top of her head, but I couldn't see the rest of her. And I was like, well, it was kind of cool to have that moment, because then, as I, walked back in, and said, she finally flew and stuff. But then, that was where the thinking in my side of things is, yeah, have a good time, Laura. Say hi to everybody for us. So, when you're there. I, was thinking about it, because, there's, these are messages that, appear when you just don't know when messages are going to happen. And so for me, the taking the opportunity to, sit with her, because I was pretty much sitting with her for a while, and, and just being there for her, trying to be that kind of, protector in a way, as well as just trying to see if, we can get her moving again, and, whether I did a whole lot or not, just the notion of being able to be there. And even then, I mean, how many people get a chance to touch a wild bird? Sure. She obviously was stunned from hitting the door, but, but just to give the chance to sit there for a little bit. And that was, it was a true highlight, and so I couldn't help but share that, because it was so amazing. But then again, it made me think about some things in my life, some importance to that, and oh, you're all good, Della. And but it made me think about, some things in my life, and sort of in that same kind of thing of just being able to sit with somebody and just be there, and it's not, has nothing to do with me, it's just that energy of just being there and knowing that, that person, I'm there for them. And so it kind of was like a, kind of a confirmation, validation, some of the things I say a lot, But it kind of did. It just reminded me of that, and so that was kind of touched my heart, and when I when I was looking, and then when I was writing it up, later that morning, it made me think about it, continue to think about it. And then even then it kind of got me a little emotional writing that post, because it just, you just don't know. And like I said, you have to be ready for these messages. And sometimes people just, oh, it's a bird. It hit its head. It's knocked itself out and that's it. And that's not how it works. Messages come and they're not just a vocal thing, but see, that's the thing. Our mental, upbringings, not saying that anything was bad, but we're always pointed in one direction. We don't see that there's other directions all around. There's not other things that are possible. And so you know it's the little things. And like I said, I was able to take that moment with that cardinal and be able to realize it was happening at the same time, and in my personal life. So that's why it's kind of cool, because like you can relate things like that and you can find the meanings in there. And so it really was, really, really, powerful. And it's like I said, it's just, I'm so used to finding them. It doesn't mean I don't miss some. I do, but I do catch a lot of them, and sometimes I've had friends, I've told them about stuff and they're like, well, yeah, what about this? And I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, that would have been a message. So, but yeah, it was a really cool moment. And so I, wanted to share that, with you guys. And because like I said, you never know, and just keep your eyes open for things like that. And so Dell is saying the Blue Jays come a lot with male cardinal. Oh wow, okay. Yeah, and just to be able to be a part of it. I mean, it's, yeah, you can look at it and be like, oh, it's just, whatever. It's not the same thing, it's just birds flying around, whatever. But I beg to differ sometimes. I mean, a lot of people know that cardinals, for some people that they, are loved ones that have passed and have, come forward and stuff like that. Because like, if you don't normally have cardinals in your yard and all of a sudden now they're there. Yeah, it is so true. It's funny is that particular cardinal couple, they just happen to live on my property. So whether I have constant spirits running through them, which they're, I don't let, when I do readings here, it's a really short window. I open up the door, that spirit comes through, or spirits come through, and then I, kick everybody back out, because I don't let things going on in my house, but yeah, I mean, so I'm used to seeing them, sometimes almost every day. So it's not like I don't look at that as a small thing. It's just, they're there. It's cool, but, and I do like cardinals are like one of my fun birds, because they're just pretty. I mean, both the male and female are pretty. I mean, can't help that the males are all, solid red, but it's just, they're just cool looking. So, but yeah, so that was kind of cool, that for a great highlight of my moment. Hey Jamie, how you doing? Good morning. And so yeah, so hopefully if you guys saw that, and if you want, you can, and you missed it, you can always go back and read that post from a couple days ago and check it out. But I did want to get into, because we're past 10 now, and I wanted to get into something that happened to me that week, 2 weeks ago, leading up into the weekend that was not here for the mid-morning show. And and so basically it's channeling. So I was not expecting it, and that's the crazy thing about it. I wasn't expecting to, I wasn't expecting it to happen at work. Let's just put it that way. And I'll describe it for people that don't understand what channeling is. But just the synopsis of things is that, I was at work and some strange things were starting to happen, in the morning, and then it happened, and it was like, crazy. And I'm going to interject some information so that people can really see it, so I don't have to like, tell it and then all of a sudden then bring in other information. So I'm going to mix information that I found out after it happened and stuff. So oh, what do you got, Chad? This is kind of pertains to experiments on rats, hundreds made to swim in their own to see how long they last before drowning. 15 minutes is average. Scientists took one of the the point of death, saved it, rested him, and put him back in. Rat lasted 16 hours. Hope that rat had hope. That means the rat had cognization. Yep, he was and connected just like your car. Yeah, Yeah, that's a good one, man. I like that, Chad. I like that a lot. Um, but so channeling is, it's weird because when it happened, in a way, it's like doing mediumship, and I'm saying it like that because you try to compare it to other people. Not that everybody even knows what mediums do. I mean, you talk to spirits and ghosts and things like that, but they they're different. They're a little bit different, and channeling is more where the spirit in a way overtakes you. It's not them standing next to you and we're having a conversation, with like two beings, two energy forms. And, or like if we're hanging out in person and it's you and me talking, that's the point. Channeling is they kind of basically jump you. I mean, it sounds scary and it can be scary depending on the situation that you're in. But the when you put yourself in the best form for it and you bringing in the uh depending on what you're hoping to channel from that, can be a lot of fun. Now I'm brand new at this, truly, but I've been thinking about it for months, actually, since early spring, maybe end of winter, that it's crossed my mind. And that's just how the path goes. I've always said that, you don't need to do everything at once, but if something's really pulling you to one direction, you just stick with that, and then what happens is you get used to it, you get comfortable, that you get good at it. And then if they think you're ready for something else, then another door open. And that's kind of where it seems like channeling was my next step. And so, but yeah, so basically, yeah, let's see, what do we got? Chris, I get that at work with my patients and coworkers. I just slide in the information into our conversation. Right. Yeah. And um but that's the thing, is like I've heard people, I've known people that have done it, and it's I guess it's you can know so much, but until you go through it, that you can then truly understand it from top to bottom as well, as best as you can, because I mean it's only been once so far. But so fast forwarded to it, and it was a couple weeks ago, and I can't, it was like midweek or something like that. But like I said, I don't bring it up a lot, but I mean I've been trying to do better with my health, so I've been losing a lot of weight. And one of the things I do when I first get there, unless I have like a I try to get there early so I can squeeze in a good power walk. And I do say power because I'm not just strolling, I'm like putting power behind it and moving quickly. um so I was on the walk, and again, I'm moving, it's just not this little quick thing. Like, you gotta, like, anybody that would like want to walk with me, you better bring your good walking shoes, because you're gonna have to and it's not like like a power, like you see like power walkers that do races like that, it's not that kind of weird form. But um because it's still like a normal walk, it's just you're just moving. And but I'm in the middle of it, and I start hearing like strange, what almost sounded like, now you gotta remember, a lot of the stuff I do is not audible. And I started hearing like what almost sounded like radio transmissions. You kind of hear like that squealing sound, and um not so much static, but just yeah, it was just this, like, you're trying to tune in a radio station, but you just don't have the static in there. But making that squealing, kind of thing like that. But and I was like, well, that is weird. And here it is, I'm moving, I'm walking my butt off. I'm hearing this weird stuff. And then finally um I start hearing whispers. And I'm like, and I'm walking. So I mean, now when I get there, it's usually like right around 5:30 in the morning. So there pretty much is like nobody in the building. And the path I walk, I've got good eyes on everything. And even then the lights are usually off. Most of the lights are off until like 5 to 6. And even after 6, there's still almost like nobody there. So the path that I take. And so I'm looking around as I'm, power walking, and I make a couple, loops around this one area, and I'm like looking to see if I, see anybody. And I'm like, there's nobody here. And then, you're thinking maybe somebody's over here. I just couldn't find anybody. So but I kept hearing these whispers. But the thing at the same time was I felt that I knew the energy behind the whispers, like, because it seemed familiar. I just couldn't put my finger on it right at that moment as I'm trying to analyze things. Let's see. Chad, you can really tell your progress because it's usually the face is the last few weeks. You can see the sliming. Oh, thank you, buddy. Yeah, it's working. This week might be a little rough. I mean, I didn't since I was home all week for the most part. So this week's probably not my best week. And I usually weigh in on Mondays. I'm probably not gonna do it. I did, not that I overate. I didn't overeat, but just not exercising as much as I would have. And I could have gone and done that, but I wanted to just take a week and just kind of chill out a little bit. And so yeah, I'll get really back to moving again next week when I go back to work. But yeah, so I'm trying to analyze everything because of this is new. And so finally, as I'm kind of throwing those questions out there, not expecting it. Well, I appreciate that, Chad. Thank you, buddy. That means a lot. I threw it out there and basically then I heard what it was. I heard who it was, I guess I should say, because then I really finally it clicked. I realized who it was. And it was, now I talked about this briefly, I don't know how many weeks ago, as a highlight. And my one friend, Michelle, and she's been doing channeling. She's been learning it, and she's had, a couple people channel what's called is the unknowns. And the unknowns is this energy force that's out in the universe. And so I'm not going to go deep into that, and problem is they didn't have a true official name. So they just, they're trying to learn the English language because everything is done in energy form. So it's not common. You just know what they're saying, but now they're trying to put voices into it and they're trying to learn our stuff. But immediately was like, okay, it's the unknowns. And I'm like, well, that's kind of cool because the last session I did with Michelle and a bunch of our friends, I even threw it out there. I'm like, would any of one of us be able to contact you, would be able to message you, and can we do that? And they were like, yes, we would like that. And so, and I was thinking, okay, cool. I'll set this up. I mean, I know it's channeling, but I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to try it myself. So, I mean, that was all these thoughts then afterwards of what I was thinking. Now, this is the part I was talking about earlier where I said I'm going to interject something. After this happens, and I'm going to go back and finish up the whole story, but at the end of it, I immediately hit up Michelle and I said, hey, I just channeled the unknowns. And she's like, well, how do you know? And I'm like, well, the conversation was pretty much like what it was. I can remember some of it, but I said there was a couple changes and I'm going to go through that. But she said, by the way, she goes, so this was literally the I don't know if this was the 5th or 6th, something like that. It was either that Wednesday or Thursday of the first week of July. And on the 30th, she did a channeling session with them. And they specifically told her, now this is something I didn't know until after this happened. She goes, they told me that they were going to come and talk to you, flat out. And she's got the transcripts because she records everything. And so she says everything out loud and then she writes everything down. So it's not just, she's not just shooting from the hip or just making this up. This is all out in the open and recorded. So they specifically said they're in. So now I'm mind blown. They really did show up, so that made it even more amazing and stuff like that. And yeah, Chad, that's a good one. This is the Planck scale of science. Everything emerges from its waves and energy influence. Yeah. And so back to the story, I told them, as I'm power, I gotta remember I'm still moving this whole time. I didn't stop. So I'm moving. I said, hey, can you wait? Let's wait until I get back to my desk. I said, because this is not the time. I said, but I'm going to be heading back that way shortly. So I said, let's go back there. And that way I can sit and we can really have a conversation. Because I don't want to be, because the 2 sessions I've been with them, and I'm sure if I can say her name, so I'm not, but Michelle's friend was doing the channeling for us. So that way we all could ask questions. And so I've seen what happens to her friend that did the channeling. And so I'm like, I don't need that happening to me, because if that happens, I might just literally fall over on the ground and somebody might think I'm emergency and something like that. So I'm like, hold up, let me get back to my desk, because I don't want to be passed out and look like I'm, out of it or sick or got a heart attack, whatever. So, and they were like, cool. So, I finish up my walk, I go back to my desk, I cool off, and I just happened to be talking to my friend. Carmen about it. And I was typing because I was typing messages and things like that. And I have to bring her up in this because this is what makes part of the story unbelievable. So I'm typing to her and I'm like, hey, I started hearing this weird stuff. And then, I said, it's kind of weird. I said, like I could hear it, like truly hear stuff, because normally I do readings. I can't. It's so rare for me to get an audible thing during a reading. It's just the way it is. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong in that. But they were hitting, or so, I was telling her about it, and I'm like thinking that, I said, so I said I would come back to my desk and see what would happen. And so it's been, I don't know how long it was, not very long, but it was a little bit of time before all of a sudden I started feeling really weird. Like my body started just sensations that I was not familiar with, because we all, I'm old, and, or at least as old as, I think I am. And, what feelings are, what the unusual stuff is. And then when you experience something that doesn't match up to anything you've ever had your entire life, you're like, okay, something's up. And so I started telling Carmen about it, and I'm like, hey, I'm feeling like this, and this is kind of like a weird. And I think I started hearing some stuff, and I'm trying to remember a lot of it, but and I was just like, what is going on? And I said, and then that's when I started hearing them again. Like I heard them starting to kind of enter. And so I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, oh my God, this is what I was just telling you about. I'm like, I could feel like they're starting to talk to me. Like I can feel like they're jumping on me, in a way. And I'm using it in a weird way, but they're entering, but I said, if by chance, if I black out and you see that I'm not writing anymore or typing, I said, just know I'll be okay. And then I'll be back as soon as I can, and I'll tell you what's happening. So most of you have ever heard of automatic writing, where if you take a pen and you hold it a little bit looser, you can do the same thing, where spirit will guide your hand to write out the answers to your question. So I could ask a question and the spirit will grab my hand and write out the answer. I ended up doing what I guess you could say a digital typing writing for it, because so I literally at one point I knew I was starting to see like everything was kind of blacking out a little bit, which is why I said that to Carmen. I'm like, hey, if I disappear, but I'll just keep going. And so finally, like I'm typing stuff, and then the next thing I know, like I can hear them talking to me, and then I would start, like I would come to briefly, and then I would type what they were saying, and then I'd go back to black again, and where I would see them and hear them. So it was a weird, like I could go in and out, but when I went in, I knew what I was typing, but as soon as the message was typed, I went back out, and then I don't remember what I just wrote. So eventually, they started shifting to talking to Carmen, and so I'm typing messages, and I'm telling them what they're saying, and I'm not going to go through all the things, because it'd be a long time. But I mean, I have a transcript of everything that was written. And what was said, but a lot of it was just telling her to do this, or work on that and stuff like that. So they were being very helpful towards her. And even then it was weird, because like I'm sitting there typing, and they would even say, yeah, like Adam says, he really wanted us to meet you. And I'm like, like I said, for a second, I know what I was typing, but then I don't, because then I had to go back and reread everything. And then I was like, oh my God, that's what was being said, because a couple of times I just had no idea. And that's channeling too, is where you really can be just blacked out and you're just speaking. And, like I said, I knew enough that there was something going on. And so I never felt like I was in danger at any point during this. So, I mean, like, I just was comfortable. I was relaxed. I was letting it, just happen. And I wasn't going to freak out and create things, even though I could definitely tell there was a couple months that, it was, I wasn't sure of things. And they even were coming through me to say, Adam's okay. He's just not used to this, and it was, other messages like that, and so I'm just like, yeah, like when I was rereading, I'm like, yeah, that's true. Cause I kind of remember I was like, this feels so weird. I'm not used to this. And just all the sensations were just way off the charts from, what we would know. It was, but it was so cool. And it got to the point too, where they were, a lot of the stuff they do know how to say would come through. And so some of the things they would, so there's a lot of times where they don't know how to say things or how to use emotions, because it's just, energy forms. There's not like a lot of that stuff that's out there. And so sometimes they would be like, well, we don't know how to say it like this, or, we're not sure how to explain this. But they would just still make me type it out. And so, and I remember at one point, reading it back when they were just like, okay, we're going to bring Adam back, even though he's like comfortable and he wants to keep going, but we think it's time for him to kind of come back and stuff. And so sure enough, this went on for, I want to say good 20-25 minutes or so, somewhere in that neighborhood, maybe a little bit longer. I mean, but it was, it at least, I'd say probably 25 minutes for sure, at least. And with all the messages that went back and forth, but because even then, when I would type and they would like allow me to like open my eyes, and because then Carmen was even writing like a couple quick things too, and I was then able to hear them say what to say back. So then I was, like typing out what they were saying and stuff like that. And but it was just fascinating, Hey, Debbie. And oh geez, well, hopefully eggs at the end. Wow, that's amazing. Wow. Hopefully it goes okay. And so, and then, I needed a few minutes to just kind of like, once I got done and they said they were bringing me back, and, I could, see everything kind of come back to reality. I felt like I was okay. And, immediately was like looking at the last few things that were said. And then, then I had to really read the whole thing, but I remember telling her, so, oh, no worries. Let's see, Chad, my first ever drawn pictures were myself and aliens, pictures of ships over the house, me holding the hands and all kinds of stuff. Mom Becky still has all the drawings. Ever since then, I can always remember being tuned in. It sounds like a weird, but in my heart, I know that's just how it is. Sometimes it's going to happen. I mean, you want to try to prepare for things, and like I did too, but they knew I was ready, and I was open for it because I've been thinking about it. But it was really cool. So, I mean, I was going to try to do another session this week. But there were some moments that just timing wise didn't work out. Even though I didn't have a lot going, I still had to be coherent enough to where I couldn't just let a 30 minutes disappear solely. And so I wanted to, and then I just never did, because I was actually going to, like, Michelle and I were going to connect and do a session channeling them, and I just never got back to her to work it out and stuff. So we'll work it out to where we'll do one, because I'm excited to do it again, because like I said, it wasn't scary, and it can be, I wouldn't do channeling personally, knowing how it kind of feels and stuff. I would not do this if it was something like paranormal, something dark and evil. No, I'm just not going to go there, because, you think of attachments and things like that for us investigators. I'm not going there. It's just not going to happen. I'm not going to do that for any type of investigation or anything like that. I'll do mediumship, but I am not letting any, even a cranky pants. Hey, Nancy. I'm not going to be, letting some cranky pants spirit just, take over me, because that's just not going to happen. So I'm going to have a fine line of when channeling, and the more I do it, that's going to be specifics and stuff. So yeah, I ain't playing around, but yeah, I thought it was kind of fun. But like I said, I've always wanted to highlight this stuff and show you how, you never know when a door is going to open. Like I said, even though I was thinking about it this whole time, just the opportunity for it to happen, is like amazing. And it was the right timing. Everything worked out for me, and to have that experience, just you just can't forget that stuff, and so Chandrell, I discovered I had the gift in 2017 after my cousin Bianca died, and it scared me, and still, oh well, yeah, events and things like that, and being able to do this stuff. I mean, when you're not ready for some things, it's one thing when that door opens up, but it's like, like with the class that, we are teaching in a few weeks on the 5th and or 6th and 7th of August. Shamanic Journeys. That's how I started, and that's how a lot of my my grounding, my foundation, my protection has all come from that class, and that truly has helped me out. Granted, I'm not bulletproof. I've had taken a couple of hits from some nasty spirits, but I've rebounded. I've learned, where I need to kind of tighten up a few things and stuff like that, which is part of the process. But I won't let it, defeat me. But the shamanic class really does highlight and did help me, because I don't think I'd be doing, all the things I'm doing, especially with the paranormal, because I've dealt with a good share of bad stuff, and so it's nice to kind of have that grounding and that protection around you and stuff. So let's see. Hey Debbie, you can always go back and check it out. Yeah, I was gonna say, you just check it out. Let's see. You look like you could have a cranky bone in your back. Nancy, I mean, you catch me on a bad day. I mean, I'm not the type to yell and scream. I'm not that type. I mean, I'll definitely have a stern voice, and I'll have a mean look on my face. But yeah, I try not to, because of this path and stuff. I mean, but I still have my days, where it's just, you get frustrated with stuff. Who doesn't, right? But I try never to get into a yelling and screaming thing. That's the most extreme it gets for me. And that's like somebody's hurting, me or my family and stuff like that, like physically. So, but yeah, even then I just don't get into a lot of that stuff. Let's see. Chad, fun trick. I called it my Dr. Manhattan practice, but I send me off to do what needs to be done. Completely disconnected to me. I let it go. It's do his thing. And that's when done. Yeah. Yep. And Chandrell, I can't seem to connect with my own close family, but Chandrell, that's the thing with mediumship. It's very difficult to connect to your own family. They let you do it in the very beginning, and if you continue to try to keep doing it, then they shut it down. And it's a weird thing. It's been around a long time. Any of us mediums that have been doing that have had the same thing. Like, knowing that, I've been able to do family members, but I do it so far in between to make sure that it never just becomes the point that I can't, so and even then, if I really needed to, I would reach out. I got so many medium friends that they totally hook me up. So yeah, don't be frustrated with it, because you don't want that either. You don't want that in your mind either. Just, it's okay. You can go to people, you can go to me, we can work it out, we can connect for you and stuff. So yeah. Let's see, because we're running out of time. My mom told me I was a meeting. Debbie, my mom told me I was a meeting, but I don't have to use it when someone. Yeah. Yep. Jill, are these energies you recognize, or just random spirits who want to use you to get? Well, Jill, so the channeling thing, I knew who it was because they clearly identified themselves, and I could feel and hear, which is again rare for me to hear things, but I was comfortable with it. Now, if it's, if I'm doing readings for somebody, or if I'm in the middle of a paranormal investigation, are these, yeah, so when, like, if I'm doing a reading for somebody, they, if they want somebody particular, I always ask them, well, let's bring that person forward. I mean, and again, you can tell when they show up. It's just like, I always say, you guys ever walked into a room, and I say this a lot, if you ever walked into a room, you can tell, like, if there's a room full of people, and like, let's say you were blindfolded and you had earplugs in, so you couldn't hear what was going on in the room, but you could walk in the room and pretty much you're going to know what the energy feels like. And that's how it is when you're communicating with their side. You feel the energy. That's being an empath. You're aware and sensitive to the energies that are around you, because you could have people that have their backs to you, but you have no idea what they're feeling, but you could get close to them or just be within the room of them, and you can tell who's in a good mood and who's not. And that does take practice if you're not used to reading it like that. But a lot of times that's what people are. They're sensitive, they're empathic, and that's just reading energies. And so you don't have to hear anything from spirits and things. You could just know the energy that's around. But yes, so when a spirit comes in, whatever I'm doing, you can tell right away, is it good, bad, evil, I mean, which is rare, but you can sense it. And it's just, again, I can walk into a room and I can tell, what the overall vibe is. And then I can look, just kind of sense people real quickly. And I try not to all the time because, it gets annoying, for me, but I usually try to shut that stuff off, so especially like when I'm around family, because it's just like, it's family, don't worry about that stuff. So um Chad, let's see. Christine's talking about I had a cranky old man jump me into the first investigation. I was unprepared, recognized when it was doing it, kicked me out. Kicked him out. I learned a lesson. Yeah. So George is not allowed to channel. Well, Rachel, he could. I mean, he could. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Marjorie, I was just starting to open up when COVID hit and feel like I shut down since. Any advice how to get back? Meditation. You got to quiet the brain down. You got to sit in silence. And if, you have difficulty, just do it for 5 minutes, just sit in silence. All you got to do is just focus on your breath. Don't think about anything else. And I know it can be difficult, but that's why you just focus on talking yourself through your breath, whatever your normal in and out of your air, just think of the air going in through your nose, because that's the best thing for meditation, because it calms your brain down, and then exhaling through your mouth. So it's the same amount in, the same amount out. And put a timer on your phone. I mean, start a stopwatch type of thing. Put 5 minutes, close your eyes, and just focus on, okay, I'm breathing in, and then I'm breathing out. I'm breathing in. That's it. Don't think of anything else. And then increase it, do that for a week, 5 minutes a day. We can find 5 minutes a day, even if you get into bed and do it, as you're going to sleep, do it, and it's just those little things that will help you get established, because you got to quiet your mind down. It's the only way it's going to get rolling again is when you quiet your mind down. Yeah. Della, yeah, we can hit it up sometime for sure. Yeah, we'll just have to schedule it. I know it'll be, during the week, I'm trying not to do those things just because I hate to be, because I wake up so early in the morning that my evenings I can be super, super tired. So I hate and I feel bad if I got to cancel when I'm like just dead exhausted, because again, I wake up at 3:30 in the morning for my day job. I got to drive an hour and hour and 10 minutes to get there. And then another, work 9 hours minus an hour for lunch, and then another hour and 10 home. So my weekdays drag on me really bad. So I try to push the weekends, but then a lot of my weekends are kind of booked up, but we can definitely schedule something out and then make it work, when we have time. So couple more, and I'm going to let you guys go, because I got a big day ahead of me. Just keep at it. COVID has everything, and everything is almost a fog. Gotta be, you're right. Yeah. And Chen, that's a great point for her. Yeah, it's, you don't want to be frustrated. That's the other thing is, focus on the meditation, a little bit short stuff, but don't get frustrated. Just don't, because you're putting an intention out there. It's like, oh my God, it's not working. I really want to, no. You got to relax, which is what the meditation's going to do. You got to calm down. Your brain's way out here. It's not going to, it's so much more work. You need to just calm down. Don't be frustrated that it's not, happening. And it's, the other thing too is, it'll happen when it needs to happen. Maybe you've got some things going on, maybe, in your personal life. That's the other thing you have to look around to. So, hey, Rebecca, good to see you. Thanks for joining. So, it's, relaxing and calming down. I mean, it's easier to say it, but then it's, you got to do it, that kind of thing. So yeah, just relax a little bit. Don't be frustrated, and just, hey, you know what? I'm just going to go with the flow. I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to, I'm going to put the intention out there. Yeah. I'd like to get back in this. If and when your guides see that they're ready to kind of bring it back up, go for it. You know what I mean? And that's the cool thing too. So, and I wanted to see what Amy said. Our minds are subconscious filters. Amy's another good friend of mine, another fantastic psychic medium and healer. Our minds and subconscious are filters to all the information we receive via spirit. It can be very difficult to clearly channel loved ones and people who are close to you for many reasons, but one is that the pure spirit versus the image we have fixed in our heads don't always sync up. Yep. Many times that turbulence makes it tough to connect. That is one of the reasons why your guides may limit that contact. Absolutely. Amy that's a perfect point to put it. Yeah. Yeah, because we put that the assumption, like we know, we knew who they were in real life, so that's just how it is. And then it's like, it's not working and they're not coming through. And yeah, it's that's why I spread stuff up. I mean, like even my grandparents, I've been gone for a while, but I've couple of them I've pulled out and I've had a conversation with them, but I don't just keep it cool, keep it calm, and that's it, and then I try to do more distant family things like that, where that works out in my so yeah, cool. The weekend. Let's see. Yeah, Dell, you just hit me up privately, and like I said, we'll throw dates out and see what works out. Jamie, I'll see you later. Yes, Jamie, I will. Well, it does, Jamie, but it is possible. It is possible. So don't see. You got to remember, you're putting a label on something too. So you're already putting an excuse out there. Don't put the excuse out there. You got to change that thought process, because if you're willing to just say, well, it's because it's ADHD, that's why I can't sit still. Why are you doing that? Don't do that. We'll talk today. Well, we could talk. We'll have some fun. We could sit and chill. So yeah, that'll be kind of cool with my house on the market this weekend. Yeah, cool. Yeah, Dell, like I said, we can always work it out. So, and you're welcome, Margie. Marjorie, I don't know what I'm doing. I keep saying all kinds of things. I've had all of them. So, so Marjorie, I'll get it right one of these days. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here because, it's 6 minutes after. So, I've been babbling away, but, yeah, so good to be back, back to doing the morning shows again. I should be good for a while now. I don't recall anything for quite some time that I'll have a weekend that I won't be able to do something for a little bit. So I can think of a couple, but we're talking November. But I can't remember before that at this point. So, but even then, I'm going to work it out to where I'm going to work on it. Hopefully I'll be able to record a show, so that way it'll still keep the trend going. But it'll work out. So yeah. So we'll be back again next week, and we'll have some fun. We'll see what spirit guides me into throwing out there, or what happens this week when I return to work, and see what because they always do, I could always look for topics and things, but a lot of times it's something that happens that makes me then want to talk about it and share it, because I think it's so perfect, because it's meant to be. So, yeah, let's see. Rebecca, it was so cool. Yeah, 11 p.m. I know. Yeah. Yeah, it's 10:37 a.m. for me right now. So hugs to you, Amy. Jill, blessed day to you. Chad, love and light, bro. Yep, same to you, man. Yep, Della, have a great weekend. Can't wait to catch. We'll catch up. We'll work this out. Hey, Rhonda, sorry, I'm out of here. It's already 7 minutes past when I usually try to end this thing. So yeah, I'm out. You guys have a great weekend. Enjoy it. I'm going to be getting together with family later this evening. I do have one session this afternoon that I snuck in, so I'm going to do that, but it's a short one. And then go hang out with family, in the late afternoon, evening, and that'll be a lot of fun. And then try to relax tomorrow, because then I go back to work on Monday. So, hey, Mandy, you have a great day as well. And yep, so I'm gonna get out of here. Yeah, you are, Rebecca. I know, that's what I love about Australia. It's, you guys are like a whole day ahead of us. And a couple work things I used to do where I had to call video conferencing Australia, and it was always weird. I always thought it was weird talking to, not that it's weird, but it just felt weird knowing that the time was literally 24 hours, almost 24 ahead of me. So I always loved that stuff. So yeah. But yeah, that's cool. But thanks for stopping by. I appreciate that. And yeah, it's awesome. But right. I'm out. You guys have a great Saturday. Excuse me. Have a great Saturday and the rest of your weekend. Have a great week. I'm going to try to keep posting, and whatever comes up, I'm going to throw it out there for you guys. And yeah, we'll get back at it again, and keep moving forward like we always do, and enjoy the rest of our summer, maybe winter for other people in different parts of the world. So, but yeah, so I'm out. So you guys have been watching the Mid-Morning Medium Chat with Adam the Black Swamp Medium, and I will see you guys again very, very soon. All my love, light, and peace to each and every single one of you. Take care.